Hello from Bali. This is a podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about values and let's start with the definition.
It's a very strange word, values. And if you live in somewhere where people speak in Spanish, French, or English, you would sometimes hear it. But there is no such common word in Russian language. So values you will hear when you work in foreign companies or international companies or transatlantic companies. I was working with investment company, and I was sent to work in England. I have been to Canary Wharf. I don't know how to say this. This is like office center, office building, office district. Yes, and suddenly in one day I heard several times this word. When I was back to Kiev, I asked my colleagues who were working with English people a lot, and I asked them, what does it mean, values? This is about money. This is about something I couldn't understand. They were laughing, and suddenly they explained that you have some like scale in your heart or in your soul. You have like dimension of something like love to the mother, like accuracy, like some other habits. And I was so astonished. So it was like hidden world, like I don't know how to say, like rabbit hole for Alice in Wonderland. So at this point, I asked some friend of mine to select and pick some books in English maybe stores, and they give me one. And when I was reading, I learned a lot of new words, not just English, but also words in my Russian speaking world. And after this, I was thinking, okay, come on, how many other words I didn't know? So it could be even universes hidden from behind, hidden from somewhere, and how people know how to learn them. And I asked also some guys who was after MBA, and they said it's just usual words when we have lectures with Indian teachers, with American teachers, with English-speaking guest lecturer. They often use word value. You also values. You also should use it.
Well, maybe might be either thin or maybe like a quite subtle line with the principles, because at certain point of time, people might be, either confusing or maybe misusing two of this. So whether there is a real difference between two of those.
You know, it's quite easy. Principle in first meaning, it's mean first. Some first rule you will use. For example, never steal, or be always accurate, or be polite. But values, it's a ruler, and it could be measured. For example, when I see people who just enter the school of troubleshooters, for me it's a very hard time, because I know the difference between people who are already spent some time in school, like for 1 year and 2 years. They are quite polite. Their language is smooth. They respect others. But newcomers, they always wanted to be, I don't know how to say, выскочка. How to say it in English? They're
Maybe
trying to
show
jump
off,
into the ice. Sorry?
jump the gun or show off.
Yes, they want to be superstars. They want to jump off, to show off. And they are loud, and they are not cultural, and they interrupt other people. But, you know, it's so nice to see how they changed, like in 5 lectures, like in 10 lectures. Suddenly they start to behave as others. You know, there is a Russian saying, if you are fresh cucumber and you will be put it in a jar with pickle, you will become a pickle. It's okay to say?
That's a good way to saying this. Yes, this is correct.
Thank you.
So when we look into the values as well, as you mentioned, at a certain point of time, you realize that there is a certain like objects that used to be as a rulers or even as a benchmarks. So how do you develop, define, or even find the values for at least yourself?
You know, for values and for competences, there is no way to to invent them by yourself. It is much easier to read it. You know, yes, you could create a new kind of bike, but if you will say, I am inventor of the bike, everyone would laugh. For example, there is also a possibility you could invent a new language and you will start to speak, but no one would communicate. Yes, people would wonder, people would listen, and you will be for them like, I don't know, pretty animal, but nothing more. So you are not a personality which could support the stream of thoughts. The same with values. For example, now you live in Bali and you know how those people are very tender with religion, and sometimes they feel bad how tourists, for example, put garbage on some holy places, and they don't like jokes when they put, for example, in small temples which they located close to their houses, like small cigarettes and small coins and something like this, and tourists make laugh and they don't understand why. This is our religion. Why you trying to judge us? The same, for example, you have been working to Dubai on bank which was serving blue colors. It's okay? Colors. I always mixed colors, like part of the t-shirt, shirt, and colors as a color of blue. And you know that sometimes people will say, oh, come on, you could make this product better, but you have spent so many time to make it cheap. And sometimes it is impossible to make this simultaneously cheap and quite effective. So you have balance, you have leverage. So values, this as we told before, this is a very strange situation. Let me remind you a story how Russian Empire was calculated the middle of the land. It was quite a good story. One time, Russian king asked scientists, could you please point me the middle of my country? And a lot of mathematicians and other people were trying to calculate. And suddenly one guy came with huge piece of cardboard. It's okay. Carton. Cardboard. And suddenly, instead of calculation, she just put needle, and on this needle, he put the I don't know how, silhouette of the country cut it from the cardboard. And suddenly he find the place where this cardboard would stay on needle. And he pointed and he said, this is the middle of the country. The same with values. Some values try to say that you should be precise, but some would say you should be fast. And you know, fast and precise is quite opposite values, but you could make it like balancing.
Well, at a certain point of time, as you mentioned, the values, they might be conflicting, but maybe at a certain point of time, they also might be bent. You know, you try to think or make a really tough decision, like where exactly you're going to go. So values and flexibility and their development. So how exactly one person should handle them to see how they can efficiently act in a certain situation?
You know, also I will tell you an example. I have been the senior student of Kyiv Polytechnical Institute. I was head of student parliament. I have created it, and then I was invited to be the member of Great Council. Is it okay to say Большой Совет? Great Scientific Council. And you know, there were just deans sitting in it, just deans. And also I am a SMA student. And sometime I was given some jokes and everyone was looking at me, how you dare to speak with us? But I was thinking that I am on the same level. But after I started to write my dissertation, suddenly I realized the difference between me, student, which is young and dumb, and those people with white hairs. They have read so many books, which I never learned of. And the more I read, the more I was respecting those people because they were so philosophical thinking. And suddenly I realized that I was just uncultured. I was thinking that they are afraid to speak. Yes, they're afraid because they want to speak something truly important. And I was just trying to be show up. So, you know, these values, it's like a cube. And by default, you are like a fly, which is sitting in the corner. And your task or maybe your goal is go through the main diagonal to the farthest corner of this cube to have all values on the highest marks. But if you will not know the dimension, you will never know how to fly.
Well, and I remember one thing that we also were heard at one of the lectures, that you should treat yourself as a company. And some of the good companies, they also do the audit of whatever, like things they're doing. So whether values also should be sort of a thing that should be audited, maybe not even from you, because sometimes you might be, like inviting like assessors or like troubleshooters in order to like see like whether they are in line with your goals or even the mission.
I will tell you also the story. Sometimes when I try to assemble the book, especially yours, sometimes I feel that I should make some correction in the words, in some symbols and something like this. And I think, should I say to Maxim that I make this correction or not? If I will show to him, he will know that I am very proud of him and I evaluate high our cooperation. But this symbol is so small that it doesn't worth our communication time. So I make it by myself. And maybe after you write something in the letter or in presentation, someone else would make that correction. But no one will say this to you, and you will say, "Oh, come on, I'm just accurate guy." And another way, or another flip of the coin, with my wife, we have a dentistry, and sometimes we have people who came from other dentistry, and we are proud to correct some mistakes, but we never know how many mistakes we are correcting after visiting our dentistry. The same with documents. For example, you think, or I think that we have created a good project, but someone after us who has special values, they will make all correction, and they will not give notice us about this, and they will think, oh, come on, we are accurate, but this is not true.
Well, I do believe this is also, some like a good way of showing the values. And sometimes we might be, like meeting people, I do believe it's unavoidable, with completely different values. In fact, it will be like not really like a win-win, but, like if we win, they lose, and vice versa. So how to deal with this kind of a thing? Because situations might be different. It could be street, it could be business meeting, it could be, like business decision, or even relationships. So how to manage, handle, and navigate through the differences?
Let give me another story. This night, exactly this night, it was a maybe hugest fight in the space history between Pakistan and India. They put into the air 125 firefighters, истребители.
Fighters.
Just fighters.
Just fighters.
Fighters, and 5 of them were falling apart. And when I hear this, I just understand their values. If they would fight with people, if they would fight with tank, it would be just usual war, but they want to escalate it as high as possible. So they put everything in the air, they put everything on the stock. And we will never do like this. We will use like FPV drones and something like this, because we think that people's life is valuable. But if we talk, unfortunately, about Pakistan, India, China, Bangladesh, they think that it's okay to sacrifice. And there is even very sad jokes I have read in the LinkedIn. If there is enough virgin in the heaven, if all Pakistani will die, something like this. It was just terrible to read. And this is how we could see values of other cultures, which is quite different from us.
Well, I do believe sometimes it still would help to navigate or at least understand. Then my last question will be how knowing about values could help to make this world a better place.
Sometimes you will see that people quarrel between spouses, between employees, between partners in the business because they have different values. Sometimes business falling apart because people have different views, and it is your task and your obligation to know with whom you work. And for some people of School of Troubleshooter, I'm saying you should leave this company. Yes, you have the salary, but values are not meet our standard. And in some point you will be pity, жалеть.
Pity, yeah.
You will be
Regret.
pity. You will regret. The same, I was working like with British American Tobacco or Philip Morris or some alcohol companies. And yes, it was a good money, but I couldn't be proud of. And now I understand I shouldn't work with such a company who work against of health of our civilization.
and we reviewed the skill of values and how it can be helpful to you. Stay in peace.